Hey everybody, welcome back to On the Road to Dr. Ethan. I'm Javeda Bay, soon to be Dr. Ethan, and this is my web series where I take you along on my journey of being a Black woman in academia, pursuing 2 PhDs because why the heck not? And this summer, I was able to teach my very first summer class, and I figured I should talk about that experience because it was definitely an experience. Because if you don't know, it was an online asynchronous class and it was my first time teaching a 300 level course. So there were a lot of learning curves, but I think I handled it well. So the class was WGS 361, which was gender, film, and media. And since it was only for 4 weeks, I was like, let me not try and put too much into this. So I only focused on movies for this course. And because I knew that I've had experience teaching this generation of college students, I was like, I'm gonna pick movies that I'm like, I know that they will at least like enjoy in some way, shape, or form, and not the typical like more common options that people go with. So the way I set up the course is that each week had a different like topic. So the first week was gender through a historical lens, and I assigned the 6888 on Netflix and Hidden Figures for them to watch. So centering it in the time period of the 1940s during World War II and the 1960s during the space race. And then the week after that was gender in the superhero genre. So I had them watch Black Widow, Doctor Strange, Into the Multiverse of Madness. What was the other ones? Oh, Catwoman, the Halle Berry version, obviously, and Wonder Woman from 2017. We're not going to talk about it. I chose it because like obviously Wonder Woman is like a central like woman superhero character. And so like how could we have a conversation about gender in the superhero genre without including her? Do I would I have preferred to pick another one? Yes, but like there was a method to the madness, okay? At the end of the day, I'm not a supporter of Gal Gadot. Like I just we needed to discuss gender in the superhero genre. Okay, okay. And then the next week we talked about gender roles and stereotypes. So I assigned, but I'm a cheerleader, The Help, and Real Women Have Curves. And then the last week I adjusted it, and instead of assigning a bunch of movies, I just like put out more information to like bring and make the whole course a little more cohesive. But overall the students said that they really enjoyed the movies. They were like, I've seen a lot of them, but like I've never watched it in like such a critical way, so like that was really fun for me. And I was like, great, I love that. There were obviously a few that they had never seen before. Majority of the class had never seen the 6888, which was expected. It came out last year. And most of my students had also never seen Real Women Have Curves, which I was like, so true. Like this is such a good movie. How did y'all not see this? But now they have. So like I feel good. But yeah, so those are the movies I assigned. And then in terms of like coursework, the big assignments were really just they had to write an essay each week. So for the first 3 weeks, it was like a traditional essay, and then the last week of the course, I instead had them write a movie critique. Things I will remember in the future. One, when you grade papers, when you assign papers, you have to grade them. So for a class of 40, I had to read 40 papers 3 separate times. That's a lot of papers to read. And they weren't like super duper long. I assigned they were supposed to be 5 to 6 pages, double spaced. So like not long papers at all, but like I have ADHD, I'm a slow reader. It was a lot. But some students did feel that 5 to 6 pages double spaced was just like too much writing. To which I kind of just like chuckled because I was like, that's literally 3 to 4 single space pages. Like that's not a lot. Also, you signed up for the summer course knowing it was only 4 weeks. So what did you think I was going to do? Only assign one paper? It's a 300 level course. Come on, y'all. But yeah, they had some feels about that, and I was like, that's really short. And if well, I was so flabbergasted. Like you're over here complaining about 5 to 6 pages double space. That's nothing. I was writing longer papers when I was an undergrad. Um, but that's neither here nor there. But I did learn my lesson about like assigning that much writing in one class that I have to grade because that was a no-go. Especially because if you follow me on TikTok, you saw me post a video about how I like screwed myself and let my students pick the movie that they wanted to write about for their third essay. But I didn't give them a list. They had free reign So I had to go and watch all those movies to actually be able to grade it to make sure they weren't just writing BS. So that was a lot of movies that I had to watch. And luckily, a lot of people did choose some of the same movies. Mainly, it was a lot of people chose the Barbie movie, and a lot of people chose Legally Blonde. So like that was nice. That was like easy for me, but there were still a bunch of other ones that I had to watch. Which as somebody that loves movies, I'm not mad at it, but also that's a lot of time. So I will also keep that in mind for future times that I teach. But yeah, it was really great. I don't think that it works as an asynchronous course, at least not that like topic material. Like I don't think any media studies course where you actually watch media works in an asynchronous format, because like the point of it is to be able to discuss it in real time. And since it was asynchronous, there was never an actual meeting time with my students. It was all just like, here's the stuff on Canvas, go do it. And obviously I made a discussion board, like they had a discussion board where they had to talk about stuff, but it just doesn't work the same when you're actually like digging into movies and TV shows and stuff. Like just being on a discussion board does not work. So I'm gonna offer some feedback to the department and be like, this class needs to at least be like synchronous if it's not gonna be in person. Like there has to be something. There has to be some FaceTime, because you can't really unpack movies without that. Also, most folks weren't like coming from like a media studies or a cinema studies background, so they didn't even know how to analyze media. So like, it just like works better when you're all together. But it was a really good time. I'm very happy that I did it, especially because now I've like expanded my teaching modalities even more. And when it's time for me to be on that job market, oof, watch out, because I'm gonna be on fire. But yeah, I did that. I taught my first summer class, my first 300 level class. I felt really good about it. Obviously, I know that there's areas that I can improve, but I am aware of them and I will make the changes for the future. But yeah, that's that. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, because why are you not subscribed? Okay. One, because if you subscribe, it helps me to get this channel monetized, which means that you would actually be helping me to pay for my dissertation research. Do you want to be in that acknowledgments page in my dissertations? Subscribe to this YouTube channel. And definitely make sure you follow me on all the social media platforms, but especially TikTok if you are really just here for the PhD life content. That's where I post the most about it. And definitely make sure you subscribe to my email newsletters. I have my regular sex ed email newsletter available on my website, themillennialsexpert.com. And then I have a PhD journey specific blog newsletter on Substack. So you can find that there. But yeah, definitely register for one, both, whatever you're feeling. But yeah, that's that. Until next time, I'm gonna see you later. Deuces.